When Manuel Pellegrini was sacked at the end of last year and walked away from Real Madrid, he pointed out that he reckoned that the guy who came in to replace him would have to pick up almost 100 points, well over 100 goals, and make sure he won absolutely everything. That's pretty much the size of the task in front of Real Madrid. Last year they picked up a record number of points for La Liga, except for one thing, that Barcelona last year beat them to it. And that's why obviously they've gone for Jose Mourinho. There's a feeling at Real Madrid that if anyone can take on Pep Guardiola in Barcelona is Mourinho, and that's really the reason why they went for him more than anything else, because he guarantees success. Florentino Perez, the president, of course, has now gone 4 successive seasons without winning anything, and in a way I think that underlines something very significant, which is while there's lots of excitement about Jose Mourinho, while there's a real sense that this is, as Osil put it, the best coach in the world, there's also a slightly dark side to this, and it's while there's excitement and expectation, there's also the concern, which is that in a way this is playing everything on one hand for Real Madrid. It's true that some of the media are talking about Jose Mourinho as a coach that's maybe too defensive and they want the team to play good football, but really and truly what matters fundamentally now is winning the league and overcoming Barcelona. Then you look at the other side and you think, well, who can really stand up to Madrid and Barcelona? Possibly Atletico Madrid will be stronger than last year, but the likelihood is that Villarreal won't. The likelihood is Athletic Bilbao will be stronger, but still nowhere near strong enough. So I think we're going to see a 2-horse race and 2 teams that are going to be way, way above all the others. There's a real sense of how quickly can Mourinho get Real Madrid playing well. A cynic would say he doesn't need them to be playing that well very quickly, because they'll beat other sides in La Liga because they're already far too good for them. Bear in mind that Real Madrid spent 258 million euros last year. They're in the region of 90 million euros this year, plus the almost 100 million euros it's cost to change managers. When you add up the cost of the payoff to Pellegrini, the welcoming package to Mourinho, the cost of Mourinho's salary and the salary of all of his staff, almost 100 million euros. Jorge Valdano, the Real Madrid sporting director, was saying in the build-up to this season that Real Madrid couldn't buy Maicon from Inter Milan because he was too expensive. And he said, but even in times of austerity, you can build a big squad. And everybody looked and went, austerity? Real Madrid? That's another reason why they're obliged to win. But as one Real Madrid player puts it, in a way, maybe Real Madrid aren't the problem. Barcelona are, because they're still a very, very good side. There's 1 or 2 areas where Madrid can, I think, feel a little bit more confident about Barcelona, and that's the fact that Barcelona have a slightly short squad. They have a new president who's now prepared to admit and also do something about the financial problems of the club. That's one of the reasons why they couldn't push as hard as they would have liked for Cesc Fabregas. It's one of the reasons why they're talking to AC Milan about Zlatan Ibrahimovic, because the financial situation isn't great. And that's creating a certain degree of tension between the board, the new board, the president, and Pep Guardiola. And there is a little bit of a feeling that that could at some stage cause some problems. Of course, this season is to some extent conditioned by the fact that Spain are now the world champions, and everybody's very, very excited about seeing some of the Spaniards play. They're very excited as well about the sense of the rest of the world taking Spain seriously and taking Spanish players seriously. You only have to see the talk that's been going on about the Ballon d'Or and the FIFA World Player Award, which of course now is one award, and everybody wants Iniesta or Xavi Hernandez to be involved in that. There's a phrase that's always used in Spain which says, we always value foreigners more than we value ourselves. Personally, I don't think that phrase is true. I just don't think that's the case. But certainly the Spanish are excited about people valuing what their players have done in world football over the last couple of years, and the World Cup does condition that and condition this season. But there's also real excitement surrounding Jose Mourinho. I think this is the first time we're seeing a coach as the star. It's certainly the first time at Real Madrid that we're seeing the Galactico on the bench, and there's an enormous amount of excitement about how he's going to work. There's also that sense of kind of curiosity. Will he wind it up? Will there be arguments with Pep Guardiola? What's going to happen in the build-up to the Clasico? Will Mourinho play with Guardiola? Will he toy with him? Will he cause problems? Will we be able to kind of see the entertainment in the press room as well as on the pitch? And I think that's a key factor for this season. Pep Guardiola said in the build-up to the season that one thing he couldn't compete with Real Madrid for was the zeros, the numbers on the checks. And in a way he's right, because you look at what Barcelona have done this summer. Yes, they spent 40 million euros on David Villa. Yes, they spent 9.5 million euros on Adriano, but compared to Real Madrid, the outlay has been lower. And that's created a situation in which everybody's talking about Barcelona's youth team players again. Joan Laporta said that the World Cup, and of course he was exaggerating, and it's partly encouraged, this comment, by the fact that he's a Catalan nationalist and not a Spanish nationalist. He said that the World Cup had been won by Barcelona, but in the wrong shirts. There's an element of truth in that. You look at the success of Barcelona's youth team products, and so that's created this sense as well of expectation about seeing who the next Pedro will be, who the next Bojan will be, if indeed Bojan will grow and become a very big player for Barcelona. So that's created this sense of not just expectation in terms of seeing big name players, but expectation in terms of, at Barcelona at least, seeing who the next kid to really make it will be.